Thanks.
Well, President Obama addressed the world's leaders this week at the UN and then hosted the G20 summit in Pittsburgh. So how did he fare in the spotlight of the world stage? Joining us now are strategist Doug Heye and also Josh Gottheimer. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming in on your Sunday afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Josh, let me ask you first, what did he get right this week?
I think what we saw, the biggest takeaway was global cooperation. I think when it came to Iran and talking about the global economy, he showed a serious difference from his predecessor, which was we're here to reach out to you, to work together, and to actually bring change a different way to the world. And I think the takeaway around, if you read papers around the world, was this is a president who's doing business differently, and I think that's how he's going to approach problems going forward.
And Doug, is that enough? Because Iran certainly has not calmed down with that strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a victory more of style than of substance. One of the things that we keep hearing about is President Obama's overwhelming popularity throughout the world. But we've not seen that really leveraged into substantial substantive successes. If he's able to do so, that'll certainly be something that, with Iran, with Afghanistan, Republicans and Democrats will get behind.
Well, we're not going to change, you're not going to change the situation in Iran overnight, of course. It's going to take a lot of work. But what you saw differently was instead of going it alone, immediately when we knew there was a problem this week, he was standing next to Sarkozy and Brown, and the leaders together said, here's our strategy, applying serious pressure on Iran, and I think that's what you're going to continue to see happen, whether that's going to be Afghanistan, whether it's going to be how we're going to finish up the war in Iraq. He's cleaning up a lot of problems in other parts of the world that he's dealing with, like Iraq and Afghanistan. He's inherited 8 years of do nothing from Bush, and so I think now he has to actually put his plan together, and it's not an overnight fix. It's a lot of problems.
One of the challenges that he faces is if you look at the Washington Post this week, front page. The administration was arguing with itself over policy in Afghanistan. It's going to require real discipline for them to move forward. If they're fighting in public with themselves, you're just not going to be able to move forward.
The military is calling for certain things, and I think he's rightly taking some time to actually study this before running out of the gate. Actually, learning lessons from the past, so you can't just jump out. You've got to stop and think, reach out to your allies, figure out what to do together, because we shouldn't be carrying this burden alone in the United States, and I think that's what we saw.
Doug, he says he's going to be very skeptical about looking at any further troop requests, because obviously he takes very seriously sending a single man or woman into harm's way, but yet when you have a top military leader saying we need this or we're going to fail, how does he negotiate those, very fine lines there?
It's a really fine line. You look back in the campaign, and we would hear repeatedly, I'll listen to what the generals and the troops on the ground tell me. That's where it's a really risky situation right now if that's not what happens. And for Republicans like myself, we wonder if candidate Hillary Clinton last year was 18 months ago wasn't right when she was warning us about some of the decisions that President Obama might make.
Josh, final word to you.
Well, I just think he should study it and look at the problem. Of course he's going to listen to his generals, and that's what he didn't come out and say, I'm not going to. He said, I'm going to listen. I got to actually make some assessments. There's a real sticky political situation there after the election that just happened. He doesn't want to run out of the gate with somebody who's not going to be in the United States and go it alone, learn lessons from the past in presidential history. So I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Instead of Bush-style cowboy running out of the gate, pausing, stopping, talking to people like Secretary of State Clinton and other leaders around the world, and then making a decision.
Well, we'll see how it plays out this week with the Geneva talks regarding Iran and further on with the Afghan situation as well. Thank you both.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.